You know, the tech world right now, it feels less like an industry and more like a battlefield. And today, we're jumping right onto the front lines, looking at everything from corporate espionage to brand new hardware and some truly massive shifts in business strategy.
Okay, so what on earth do hackers, folding phones, and video games all have in common? I know, it sounds totally random, right? But stick with me. They're all different fronts in the exact same tech battle, and we are about to connect all the dots for you.
All right, let's kick things off on the scarier side of things, cybercrime. And I'm not talking about someone guessing your password. We're talking about massive, sophisticated operations with some truly devastating real-world consequences. Let me show you what I mean with two huge, very recent examples.
Get ready for this number, $285 million. That is the insane amount of money stolen from the crypto exchange Drift Protocol. But honestly, the number isn't even the craziest part of the story. It's how they pulled it off. This was no quick smash and grab. This was a slow, calculated con, months in the making.
I mean, look at this. The level of patience is just mind-boggling. We're talking about a North Korean-backed group that spent 6 months on this. They played the long game. This whole thing is what's called social engineering, basically the art of manipulating people to get what you want. They went to conferences, they talked shop, they even invested over $1 million just to look legit. This is so far beyond a sketchy email, it's basically an intelligence op.
And don't think for a second this is just a crypto problem. These kinds of high-level threats are hitting everywhere. The entertainment world is a massive target too, which brings us to a huge breach at one of the biggest names in video games.
So Rockstar Games, the GTA people, are in a really tough spot. They are literally staring down the barrel of an April 14th ransom deadline. A group called Shiny Hunters got into their systems and is threatening to leak a ton of corporate data. And the timing? It's a total catastrophe, because they are gearing up for what is probably the biggest game launch in history, GTA 6.
Now, you might be thinking, wait, didn't this happen before? And you're right. This isn't their first rodeo. But the hack back in 2022 is a completely different beast than what's happening now. Back then, a lone hacker leaks some gameplay videos. Super embarrassing, yeah, but you can recover from that. This time, they're targeting the entire corporate and marketing strategy, leaking how you plan to launch the game. That's like giving your enemies your entire playbook. It could sabotage years of planning. It's way more dangerous than just leaking the game itself.
Okay, let's shift gears. We're moving from the digital battlefield to the physical one, the one that's happening right in your pocket. The smartphone war is absolutely heating up, and these companies are fighting tooth and nail over everything from the shape of the phone to the power of the chip inside.
And this right here shows a huge strategic pivot from Samsung. For the Galaxy Z Fold 8, they're planning a new wide version. Why? Well, it turns out people found the current tall, skinny book style kind of awkward to type on. So this new, shorter, wider passport style is all about being more practical, more usable. It's a direct response to customer feedback, and it's also a clear shot at Apple, who's been rumored to be working on their own foldable.
But Samsung isn't playing this game alone, not by a long shot. Google is getting ready to fire back with its own counterpunch with the next Pixel, and it's packing some seriously next-gen tech.
So what's the secret weapon? It's all about 2-nanometer chip technology. Now, if you're not a chip geek, don't worry. Here's all you need to know. In the world of processors, smaller is always better. A 2-nanometer chip lets you cram way more transistors into the same tiny space, which means a massive jump in both speed and power efficiency. It's a huge leap forward for phones.
And guess what? The Google Pixel 11 Pro is set to be the very first Android phone to have one. The new Tensor G6 chip is obviously the star of the show, but look at the supporting cast. A crazy 100x AI-assisted zoom, a new Titan security chip for better protection, and, thank goodness, a new modem that hopefully finally fixes the spotty connection issues people have had with Pixels in the past. It's clear Google is not messing around.
All right, so let's zoom out for a second. We've talked about the products, now let's talk about the big picture strategies behind them. In this next part, we're going to see how some of the biggest players in tech are literally tearing down the walls that have defined their businesses for years.
And there is no better example of this than Microsoft. Just listen to this quote from the head of Xbox, Phil Spencer. He says, "They're not just a console company anymore. This says it all. The entire philosophy is shifting. The goal is no longer just to sell you an Xbox. The goal is to get you to play Xbox games, and they don't care what device you're playing on."
And believe me, this isn't just PR talk, it's actually happening. Starfield, which was supposed to be one of their biggest exclusives ever, landed on the PlayStation 5 after just 31 months. And the predictions are that flagship series like Halo and Forza are coming next. The whole idea of a console war as we knew it, it's basically dissolving right before our eyes.
You know, this idea of breaking down these walled gardens isn't just happening in gaming. Over in the world of social media, you've got Elon Musk trying to smash his way into the super competitive and very private world of messaging apps.
So say hello to XChat. It's a new standalone app from X, and it's got all the standard security stuff like end-to-end encryption, so your messages are private, but it's got a few interesting twists. Instead of a phone number, it's tied to your X account, and it has built-in screenshot blocking. Pretty cool features, right? But the billion-dollar question is, are a few unique features enough to compete with the absolute dominance of giants like WhatsApp and Signal? That's a tough mountain to climb.
Okay, so we've covered these incredibly complex heists, we've looked at groundbreaking new hardware, and we've seen entire business models getting turned upside down. Let's pull all these threads together now and look at the big picture.
Here's the bottom line from today's tech battlefield. Cybersecurity is no longer something you can ignore. It's a top-tier threat for every single company. Social engineering isn't a quick trick anymore. It's a patient, long-term operation. The hardware in our pockets is getting seriously innovative, with mature foldables and these new 2-nanometer chips. And at the same time, the digital walls that define the industry for a decade are crumbling. Everything is changing, and it's all happening at once.
And all of this really leaves us with one big question to chew on. As all these tech battles get more and more intense, who really wins in the end? Is it the companies who are fighting for dominance and market share? Or is it us, the consumers, who get better products, more choices, and maybe a little more freedom? Something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.